Welcome back, folks, to the next episode of the Believe in FCS Football podcast, the best FCS football podcast out there, your go-to source for FCS football analysis from two former FCS football players. I'm Joe DeLeone, joined by my former teammate and roommate, Sean Anderson. For some reason, he is mumbling and snickering while I'm doing the intro. What's the deal? You disappear for a week. And we don't record.
How is this the next episode? It's the current. Why can't you just say you are listening to the Believe in FCS Football podcast? This is. I don't know.
I say things sometimes.
We are not going to be saying, okay, next week FCS starts. Okay, that's not how this works. You're jumping ahead. You're getting my timeline off.
Get it fixed. I can say what I want.
It's the Believe in FCS Football podcast. I've known Joe for a long time. That's all you got to say.
No. I'm going to open how I feel like I want to.
Okay. It wasn't a criticism. I was just speaking aloud. I was mumbling aloud. That's all I was doing.
Mumbling aloud. Those are contradictory words. Those do not go together.
Okay.
So today's episode, we're back after Sean's trip to Florida. I hope you had a wonderful time. He claims he's tan. I don't really see the tan. But maybe, you put a little color on. Hopefully you did.
I'm under the bright lights here. Forearms. I'm under the.
Somebody's
people
gonna have
talking
to go
about
back
how
and
tan they get is the most boring thing ever. You know what you do that with? You do that with a girl that you're trying to flirt with, like the first week of high school, saying, "Oh, I'm way more tan than you. Let's compare." That's what you do.
Can somebody do a side-by-side comparison?
The most boring conversation to talk about is how tan you got over the summer. We can all see.
On that note, I would like for somebody to please clip pictures from this episode and the last episode and see if we can get a side-by-side difference. Maybe we can. But today we're going to be talking about the Senior Bowl watch list released, and there's a good chunk of FCS players that made the list. We're going to talk about those players that are in contention to potentially be at the Reese's Senior Bowl in 2022, I guess, because that's going to be next year. We're also going to analyze the Phil Steele FCS All-American list, just giving our takeaways and thoughts on specific guys that we think maybe were snubbed, some interesting names that we don't really see how they made it into the mix, just our thoughts and reactions to that Phil Steele list, which has consistently been one of the better FCS All-American lists, if not one of the most in-depth because of how many available positions and stuff that he puts on there. Before we get to that, though, Sean, can you please share a quick message with our listeners?
I'd love to. And Joe, I'd love to do an impression. Okay. This is who I call the most annoying guy by week 15 of the NFL season. Okay. You ready?
Go for it.
Oh, you took the Bills under 12 wins? I could have guaranteed that they hit 14. Why would you take that futures bet? Oh.
Thank you. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy at all. All right. Be the other guy. Be the guy that's placing down bets. Be the guy that's placing futures and watching for the whole season. That guy is the worst. He is the worst because he doesn't place a bet and he likes to criticize and tell you how well he could have placed the bet. Joe, am I wrong? How many people of these do we know?
A lot.
They're the worst people ever. Jump off a bridge. You need to go and not be that person. So head on over to betonline.ag. All right, place your futures bet for the NFL season. Joe and I are going to be placing plenty, and the MLB playoffs are coming up. Oh my goodness, Nats are not in it. Phillies are getting booted. It's a great time in the NL East. I'm steamed about that. Visit the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before the next big game, head on over to BetOnline and start playing today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for the definite needed jab at the Phillies. Always appreciated.
Well, they stink.
They were in the lead for a quick
Zach
hot
Wheeler's
second.
pitching well, though.
Yeah, I think it's like the only redeeming quality right now is how well Wheeler's pitching. But they're just too inconsistent.
Wheeler's getting like 10 Ks a game, but he'll also give up like 3 home runs. And then, you know what? I'm a Nats fan. I will always be a Nats fan. And maybe it's a stupid, childish part of me. I still want Bryce Harper to do well, even though I hate the Phillies with all my heart. And when he starts playing well, I am kind of still happy. And I like what he did in early August. So you got him going for you.
I admittedly smiled when I found out all of those players were traded away from the Nats. I was jubilated.
Hey, the Clippers are going to be really good this year.
Yeah, they brought.
Oh,
your
main core is
traded
great.
for Eric Bledsoe. What do you?
Oh, you got Eric Bledsoe. Okay, I'm sure he's going to be a second
Yes.
piece to Paul George when Kawhi gets hurt again, or his load management.
We're
I
not
like
talking
Kawhi,
basketball.
but I'm just saying, you want to start taking big shots, we can start taking big shots.
We have another show.
Hey, remember the Devils were supposed to have like the number one MVP on their team, and then you said they're going to be in the Stanley Cup 3 years in a row, and now that guy is on the Rangers or the Canadiens, wherever he is. He might be. Where's Taylor Hall at? Is he on the Bruins now? Where is he? Because he's not on the. He's not on the Devils.
Comment.
Yeah, shut up. I'll carve your stupid ass up.
We have another show to talk about sports that we never
I will
record.
Carve you up.
Okay, can we talk FCS? Can we talk FCS? So I want to provide just a super quick update, Sean, on the South Dakota State trip. So we had amazing reaction for like a solid 2 weeks. We had really, really good response from fans after we made the announcement. Some people were disappointed. We had some Idaho fans that were a little bit sad but understanding. I apologize to, I think it was Thumper on Twitter. Did you see that? I accidentally said that it was an Idaho fan who I mentioned that offered us brisket. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry again for that because
you better have his or her name right, because if you don't, it's going to be all my brisket.
I have to. So the other thing I want to say too here is that I understand that I've gotten a lot of DMs, and I apologize if I haven't gotten back to you yet. I do intend to get back to you guys. It's just been insanely hectic with the college football season and NFL season coming up soon. So I will respond. I've had a lot of really nice people that have offered us a ton of things. We've even had, I think, some people that have said they're going to help us get tickets and all that good stuff. So we will get back to you guys. We're going to plan the trip very, very soon. We're going to figure out which weekend we're going to come, but pretty suffice to say, we're excited. We're looking forward to going and doing this. We just need to figure out the details soon, and we'll probably make more of an announcement come first week of FCS.
Yes, and to reiterate, for if we have any new listeners, the people chose, and we will be going to a South Dakota State game because they had the most outpour of fans that had tweeted recommending South Dakota State, and we are not going as media, so we will be one of the people. We will be one with the people. We will be in 3 layers of clothing and the thickest jeans you've ever seen. We will not be asking players or coaches questions. We will be there to drink and play cornhole and eat some delicious food and watch some good college football.
Sean will be wearing really thick jeans.
You've never seen jeans this thick.
Wearing uncomfortably tight jeans. It's going to be great.
My jeans are like jeans you would wear in shop class, where like in case a sawzall went awry, it wouldn't cut through them. That's what my one pair of jeans are like.
Yeah, I know the pair of jeans that you're referencing. You wore them like every single time that you went out if you didn't wear sweatpants.
Yeah, I had one pair of jeans.
Yeah. It was like a tarp. Is the
they
best
are
way
so heavy.
They're like coveralls.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's Sean's fashion. So yeah, we're excited for the trip. More to come on that. Thank you again for everybody who's reached out. We will be getting back to you soon. Just been a little bit backlogged and swamped in terms of being able to respond. But as we said, Sean, we want to talk about first the Senior Bowl watch list that was released. Jim Nagy of the Senior Bowl, known for putting out a great event. There should be a watch list for some of these other events. The East-West Shrine Game is always a big game for FCS guys. But just to quickly rip through these players, because there's not a lot of guys, or enough guys that I can read through all of them, and we're going to provide some takeaways. Cordell Volson, North Dakota State, offensive these are the offensive linemen. Nick Zakelj, Fordham, Matt Etsko, North Dakota, Trevor Penning, Northern Iowa. I should have. Drew Bones, Illinois State.
That's what I get for telling them to rip, folks.
Aaron Johnson, South Dakota State. Braxton Jones, Southern Utah. Quarterback E.J. Perry from Brown. Aquil Glass, Alabama A&M. Cole Kelly, Southeastern Louisiana.
My guy.
Zara Cooper, Jacksonville State. Running backs are Derek Nguyen from Furman. Jamin Martin from North Carolina A&T. Julius Chestnut from Sacred Heart. Pierre Strong Jr. from South Dakota State. Wide receivers are Andre Miller from Maine. Christian Watson from North Dakota State. DeGene Dixon from Nichols. Jaquez Ezzard from Sam Houston. Tanner Connor from Idaho State. The only linebacker is Trey Walker from Idaho, the fantastic Vandal. Defensive linemen are DJ Coleman, Jacksonville State. Isaiah Chambers, McNeese State. Kobe Turner, Richmond. Mike Green, James Madison. Only edge is... Wait, there's only one edge? Deshaun Dixon, Norfolk State. That is bizarre to me that is There's only one edge out of all the guys. I'll
Keep
get to
on
that
ripping,
in a second.
Joe.
Marquise Bell, Florida A&M, is the one safety. And then the corners, Zion McCullum, Sam Houston, Jacoby Durant, South Carolina State, Orlando Jordan, Southeastern Louisiana, and then Darian McKenzie from Merrimack are the remaining players. So, Sean, let's get to your first takeaway. And you decided to bring up a Bison.
Yeah, I did, and it's my expertise would be the offensive line. And later on in the show, I'm going to tell you about an offensive line who has been admittedly in my blind spot for whatever reason, and I'll get to him. But right now, for the Senior Bowl watch list, I'm going to tell you about a guy who is going to make the Senior Bowl, and he will perform at the Senior Bowl, and he will be on an NFL team next year, and that is Cordell Volson. He is as polished as they can get for this class's offensive line group. He's in North Dakota State, so he's had plenty of great tutelage from both his coach and teammates that have made the NFL. I know Dylan Rayden's. I was watching him just steamroll Atlanta in Tennessee last week during that preseason game, and he was a teammate of Volson, and Volson, who played right guard last year. I think, Joe, you ever see those videos of the quarter-mile drag races?
Yes, I was watching those this weekend. My friend Devin was here visiting.
That's what you guys do. I'm sure
We're
there
idiots.
When they have like a Hellcat up on the line, and on the other line there's like a crazy ass 1970s Ford pickup truck with a massive engine in it.
Yeah,
and they just start off rip, and then the truck just wins by a landslide.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what Cordell Volson kind of is. He just goes out of the starting blocks, and he gets vertical. He gets to that quarter mile, which would be on a football scale, that 5 yards down the field, faster than many offensive linemen that I've ever seen, especially for his build. There are like leaner offensive linemen that are kind of just a different body type, but for his mass, and to say that in a good way, like there's athletic, crazy offensive linemen like Tyron Smith. He's massive, but you would characterize him as a lean offensive lineman. Jason Peters and Trent Williams, athletic, but different body style. And Volson, for being of that kind of Trent Williams-esque body style where you could put him at guard or tackle, how quickly he gets upfield and makes blocks on linebackers and how effectively he does, it's insane. And it's just because he knows exactly what he's doing, because you don't see offensive linemen go barreling ahead like that if they don't know what they're doing. They'll go 3 yards, stop, look for somebody. Volson, I've never seen do that. He goes straight ahead. He knows exactly where his block is, and he executes it. And he just comes like a freaking, like what is it, wrecking ball. He'll just destroy you. He will annihilate you, and he's killing FCS players, and he's going to crush, and I'll say it right now, he's going to crush NFL linebackers. He just will. He's too sturdy. So him being first team did warm my heart a little bit.
Or you mean Senior Bowl, rather?
Senior Bowl, pardon me.
Yeah.
I think he was first team also.
Yes. And Dylan Raydun's, we know last year, was one of the darlings of the FCS draft prospects, despite very few guys declaring good enough to be selected by the Tennessee Titans pretty early on. Cordell Volson, I think that if he declared, he probably would have been a signable player. He was in the mix. At the very least, he would have been a high priority UDFA. So for him to make this list, not surprising to me whatsoever. North Dakota State just builds offensive linemen differently. They, unlike any other program, can across the board recruit quality FBS guys that might take a couple of years to start at an FBS program that can immediately plug in and play and get more experience. And I think that's why they've had success putting guys that are at least contending for NFL rosters, because they have so much experience.
They do, and they teach them the NFL style also at North Dakota State. So they're already primed to go to – they can play at any other college football program in America, and they can play at the NFL quickly. I mean, there's always a learning curve, but they're getting prepped and primed.
Right. That's, I think, a big advantage, too. It's a very run-centric scheme that they operate in. And I think that definitely helps and prepares them for the next level because of how much run blocking they're doing. It really, really is good for a big reason why they have so much success. So Volson makes a lot of sense to me. I'm insanely perplexed, as you can tell, folks, by a couple guys that I just don't understand how they don't end up in the mix for edge and also for safety. How the Sean Dixon from Norfolk State makes the list over Isaiah Chambers of McNeese State and then also Jordan Lewis of Southern is odd to me. I can understand a little bit more Jordan Lewis because we've talked about the size concerns. There's going to be actually Jordan Lewis. Is he an underclassman? I don't want to mess this up.
He might be. I'll look at it right now.
No, he's a junior. That's why. Forget about
There you
Jordan Lewis. Isaiah Chambers, regardless, that one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. That one I'm very perplexed by because this guy has been around for a while. He played at Houston. NFL teams are familiar with him. He ends up at McNeese State, has a very good year last year. He's only going to have an even better year next year. At the very least, this guy is going to be an East-West Shrine Game player, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's in contention for the Senior Bowl come the end of the season because of how good he is. Nicario Harper, too, I'm a little bit surprised, too, that going to confirm his year. Make sure I'm not messing that one up either. He's a redshirt sophomore. Wow, I'm botching the year. I don't know what year anybody is because of the damn COVID year.
You know what?
I'm
I was going to tear into you, but
you know what?
You passed.
I am not going to be apologetic of that. I am not going to be apologetic of that. I have no dudes are 25 that are sophomores right now.
We've got guys that have played at school a year before we got there, and they're still playing. I don't know what year that is.
Lorenzo Bryan is the perfect example.
AJ Bebo was in our class.
Yes.
Mac, and I love these guys with all my heart, but it is just so confusing, and we don't know who is
so
still playing
damn
and who
confusing.
isn't. I don't know who can still play also. I don't know. I don't know.
That too. Yes. Regardless, Isaiah Chambers, I'm going to
You
stand
get a
on
pass,
that hill.
Joe. That's a pass.
Isaiah Chambers, I'm sitting on that hill, though. That one's confusing to me. If Nicario Harper and Jordan Lewis would be seniors right now, I have to say that they would at least be one of them would at least be a redshirt junior. Jordan Lewis would be a senior, but I'm going to stick with the Isaiah Chambers. That one doesn't really make a whole lot to me. Technically, I think they could be eligible because I think it's like 4 years, or you need to have graduated. Is the deal.
Eligibility, wrong guy.
Eligibility for the Senior Bowl, you need to have graduated. That's the whole shtick.
Here's a message to the players. Let's just do 4 years and out. It makes our jobs a lot easier. Right?
You're done. I don't care if you're a sophomore. You're done.
It doesn't matter. We got to do it. We can't keep up.
You've got quadruple super seniors at this point. What's your second takeaway from this Senior Bowl list?
What
are you smelling there?
I had something on my microphone.
The amount of times you spit into that thing.
You know what, Joe, that is? That's actually donut icing.
Huh?
There were some folks over, and we were doing a show where we were trying donuts, and I had swiped over, and I realized I had gotten icing on my microphone cover.
That's disgusting. That's been sitting there for a week.
I didn't.
Your second takeaway is regarding EJ Perry making this list.
Oh, yeah. Here's something for the non-hometown but hometown state. It's Joe and I have, what would you call it, a mixed feelings about this individual.
Yeah, because we played against him. He was the only good player on the team by literally a mile. It was like playing against a bunch of high-quality high schoolers and then a ACC quarterback.
Yeah. EJ Perry on the list. He kind of could definitely be on this list. And he also could not because he plays at Brown. And it's in the Ivy League, and Brown is not a good team. It's not like he's playing at Harvard or Yale. He is on Brown. And he is there, and he just kind of does things on the football field that make you feel a little bit embarrassed when he's on the opposing team, which is you need to experience once this year. Tune into a Brown game if you have the availability or the ability. EJ Perry's going to stand out, and maybe it's because he's playing in the Ivy Leagues. But, Joe, how many sacks did he escape versus us?
I think the better question is how many fourth downs did he pick up? There
Probably
were
8.
4 at least, 3 or 4 when we played him.
We played them our junior year, which I believe was 2019 or 2018.
It was our senior year when we faced EJ Perry. I don't remember if we played.
No, because I was on the field and my folks came down, and I was injured by then. I thought I was going to get. It was junior year, bro.
He was at Brown, I'm pretty sure.
I know.
That was senior year, dude. It's been
No,
that
it
long.
wasn't. It wasn't.
At
Because
Brown was our senior year.
even years, they were at home. Even years, we were at home playing them because I played against Brown my sophomore year.
Because our first year, I can't believe we're arguing over this. Our first year,
Freshman year
was home against
at
Brown, and we
Brown.
got beat. A freshman year
Oh, wait,
home,
what?
we got beat.
Oh yeah,
We got beat freshman year.
Yeah.
Sophomore year, we beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And then junior and senior year, I think we beat them. Or it might have been the other way around. I don't remember.
What the
It's been so damn long. We're losing our
What
minds
the
over here.
F?
Regardless,
Whatever.
EJ Perry,
he's worth
super
it.
surprising he's on the list, but he's super talented.
Yeah, he's really a diamond in the rough that we only know about because we played against him. And the thing is, he's had some insane stat lines that have sometimes gotten passed up by Chris Oladokun or Aquil Glass or whoever over the years at the quarterback position. He'll throw for 400 yards and run for 100, and he'll not really break a sweat doing it. But it's just very odd. So get yourself acquainted with him because we definitely had to.
Another guy we have to note here that you need to be acquainted with, Devin Nguyen, running back from Furman, not on any of the All-American lists. A guy who seemingly some people might have forgotten about that he's not getting enough recognition. There will be an interview run on the NFL Prospects Pod. Ryan spoke to him. Ryan Roberts of RiseandDraft.com, who I do a lot of work with, is a very big fan. Ryan went out of his way to literally give me a whole spiel on why he likes him so much. Give me like more than usual. Usually he'll give me I talked to this FCS guy kind of thing. He's like, you need to talk to him. He was like, you need to try and get him on your show. And I said to him, well, why would I interview him if you interviewed him? It's going to be on the same YouTube feed. That would be stupid. Regardless,
I like this guy.
Devin Nguyen, fun player. And I think that we kind of forgot about him during the spring. Given the opportunity to tote the rock and get some more carries on a very run-heavy team, this dude is going to put up some numbers. We are going to remember exactly who he is come the end of the season. And even if he doesn't put up 1,000 yards rushing and he just has a couple good performances, NFL teams are fully aware of this guy. This is an NFL-capable running back. I'm surprised Elijah Dotson didn't find his way into the mix because that has always been somebody who's talked up as a multi-level threat, a third down type back that's small
because
and
of his
shifty.
build. Because he's 5'10",
Right.
but he also plays like he's 6 feet tall. Like he could play
Exactly.
whatever size.
But I still love the Devin Nguyen pick here.
Dude,
it makes sense.
I'm watching his clips right now. First of all, he wears number 0 at the running back position,
Which is just scary.
That's phenomenal. I'll say that right now. That is just phenomenal. Who was the running back after Fournette at LSU? He kind of runs like him.
Darius Geis?
He kinda like the way that his shoulders move a little bit, and the way that he lowers his shoulder. It's kind of they're little stutter steps. It kind of reminds me of him, just a little bit. I don't think it's pound for pound because Geis was definitely a little more power than shift, but with Nguyen, I kind of see it a bit, just in the running style.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just his build, but sometimes my mind locks onto something. I can't think of a different comp. I'm not forcing it, Ryan. So get off my back. It's just an immediate comp that I found. If it's bad, it's bad. I'm not forcing it. Jeez.
Out of left field. Ryan, please tag Sean and tell him he forced that comp. I need to hear it.
I dare you. I'm glad the Phillies stink too. I know he's a Phillies fan too.
He's our most consistent listener. So
I know. That's the
he
thing.
will come at you.
He'll bring up stuff that I forgot I said. I'm like, oh, here's Ryan, the P1. I'm like, why is he the P1?
Because we frequently challenge him.
That's right.
We say stuff that is usually aggressively in his direction, and he always
but we're not draft dweebs that he doesn't have to respond to.
Yes. I forget what you said last time that he responded to.
So
it was something
stupid.
about draft Twitter.
I think it was my guy, the my guy rant.
That's what it was. He called you his guy.
That's the worst. I hate it.
Speaking of my guys, Phil Steele has his guys. The All-American list, released by Phil Steele, consistently one of the best All-American lists, especially for FCS. That was put out very recently. I forget the exact day, but that was a buzz of the All-American, the All-Conference list. I have one of the current players that I talked to who sent me a screenshot and asked why he wasn't on it. And there was a very questionable player that was on there over him for the All Conference. And I'll tell you off air, but it was very, 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 very questionable.
I'm excited. I love the skinny.
Yes, love the skinny. So All-American list.
Obviously, don't love being skinny.
No,
Yeah,
you're telling me?
Me.
You're telling me? Yeah, you don't. I'm not going to read through the list. Go look it up because there's a ton of names. It would be
do we want to
redundant
tweet
read
out
through
the
whole
link?
thing. No, our listeners are
Okay.
smart enough to go through this and find the list. It would be like 5 minutes of me reading through the entire thing. And
That's
also
true.
very easy to not hear some of the things that I'm saying if I rip through too quickly. We want to provide our takeaways, though. So one of the things that is of note that I want to hit here first, Sean, is that Pierre Strong Jr., first-team running back out of South Dakota State, justifiable. Pierre Strong Jr., one of the best running backs in the FCS. But I'm so shocked that Isaiah Davis does not make this list, and I stand by the fact that Isaiah
Needs
Davis
another
is the. I think he's the
He's
better
young.
running back on the
He's
team.
young. I agree. He's young, though. He's young.
I bet. And call me out now, folks. And remember this, quote this, clip this, do whatever you want with it. Isaiah Davis will finish with more rushing yards and more rushing touchdowns than Pierre Strong Jr. at the end of the season. That's all for my take. That's it. I think that he should have at least been third team. To not include him, I think is crazy that Phil Steele didn't put him on there.
Well, I think it's my first takeaway for this is that there are no Illinois State players on here, so I know Kwame Curtis will not be listening to this show.
Are there really no Illinois State?
No. There's some Southern Illinois guys, but no Illinois State guys. Isaiah Davis, his playoff run last year was really, really strong. I wouldn't call it phenomenal or special, but he was that team's offense in that playoff run. Maybe it was phenomenal. Because their quarterback went down, they had to rely on somebody, and Davis picked up the slack. Does that necessarily mean that he deserves first team over Chestnut? No. But it means that if there was an honorable mention or something, I don't know, maybe he's a third team guy. The thing is, I mean, this kind of goes into my first point here, Joe. Mm-hmm. The running back class for this upcoming year, very strong. It's a very strong year. And my first point is people are going to be a little bit mad that John Maine Martin is second team and not first team.
Zay just got waived. I'm sorry. It's just
what?
That just threw me off.
Who did?
Zay just got waived. The Texans just waived him. We're referring to Isaiah Coulter.
You kidding me?
1 year. They waived him after 1 year. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. That
stinks. And Murph got hurt, which stinks.
That's a separate issue. AP played well. He's been playing well.
I know.
Sorry, continue. I didn't mean to cut
Murph
you off.
did really good too. But
yes.
Yeah, okay. He'll get picked up. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
he's a big boy. Was it running backs?
How good the class is? Yeah,
they're just strong this year. So they're going to be deep, Joe. If Davis isn't on it this year, he'll be on it next year. So that's how it works. It's how I think we've had this conversation for almost 3 years in a row about one running back getting slighted over the other, and it's because. We just have guys that just keep on surfacing and rotating through, whether it's Julian Gums or it's just, we just get a bevy of FCS players that we're thinking like, this guy's the guy. Oh, this guy's the guy. And then sometimes it's like, oh, James Robinson. Yeah, he's really good. And then he's number 100 on the top 100 in the NFL. It's a deep class. I'd say this season we're kind of going to get a little more concrete with who can really play, who can really not play, because it's a regular type season. It's not going to be broken up into two different fall, spring. What are we doing? What's the year? What's the recruiting? Whatever. It's going to be week 1 to week 10. And it's going to be who has the best stats, who has performed best against the best teams. And we'll have a little more evidence as to what we can make our judgments on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that point there where these FCS running backs, there's just so many names that can play into the conversation,
right.
And you can really plug some of these guys in and out. So you can't really get too upset. And I can't get too upset about Isaiah Davis. I would at the very least have put him over Jawan Fari of Monmouth. Maybe they didn't want to go, maybe Phil Steele didn't want to go too crazy on the South Dakota State running backs because he already had one on there.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of talent. There is consistently a lot of talent at the running back position at the FCS level.
I truly believe that if, for whatever reason, you reached out to Phil Steele and you said, hey, what about Isaiah Davis? He would give you a rational answer, noting that, oh, yeah, that guy's really good, but I had to do this or this. I feel like he would have a rational answer, and he's not just like, oh, who's that? Because nobody's like, who's that anymore? Nobody is. They can't be.
So my second takeaway here, and I might get a little crap from some Sam Houston fans, and I know we have some Sam Houston State listeners. Also was talking to the walk-on radio guys earlier, so they might be tuning into this episode. No disrespect to Eric Schmidt. I think he's a good quarterback. I commend him for what he did in the national championship game.
He won a national championship.
He deserves recognition for doing so. Deserves all conference honors. But does he deserve to be third team over Cameron Ward and Akil Glass, who are going to probably put up way better statistics than him and also have already put up way better statistics than him?
Here's my beef. I'm going to skip to my point also. The reigning offensive player of the year is second team. And we like Barrier. Why is Kelly second team? I'm cool. I'm cool with Schmidt being third team or not third team. Because, one, he won a national championship, and that's a good thing. Two, he's not the most polished quarterback in the class. He could not be. But I think that Steele put him on there because he was the quarterback that won a national championship. And it's just, that's not to diminish your beef about this, because I love, I'm going to let you pop off a little bit if you choose to. But Cole Kelly is first team. He is the quarterback this year. And but also, Barrier, close second. That's 1A, 1B. I have Kelly over Barrier. So that's a little bit of my beef. It's not as strong as yours. My tone is not presenting it as such. But I'll let you get back to yours, Joe. But it's odd that we both had almost synonymous
right.
points
I wasn't as I wasn't as bent out of shape, I think, on the Barrier Cole Kelly. I understand your argument.
I just need him to win more games. That's all. I just need Barrier to win more games.
Yeah. I would hope that they're more successful this year, and I think that he's going to prove that first team selection this upcoming season for EWU.
I hope he does. Big fan.
Yeah, and I think he will. But I'm still, again, I like Eric Schmidt. I think he's a good quarterback, but I just don't. I think Cameron Ward from Incarnate Ward is a better quarterback. I think that Akil Glass is a better quarterback and has proven more. He's shown more consistency.
Yes.
And NFL teams clearly like him. He made the Senior Bowl watch list. Right. He's going to get an NFL shot, and he deserves to be. And it's not like he doesn't have the statistics to back it up. It's not like he's just a guy that's got a huge arm and can't control it. He has produced in his career.
Here's one for you. I'm going to take you a little bit off base. Zarek Cooper or Eric Schmidt?
Eric Schmidt. Zarek Cooper didn't even play in the spring, and he got hurt, and I'm a little disappointed with some of his performances last year as well. I would have rather we saw. I'm just seeing where your
baseline
Schmidt
is at. Is all. Yeah. I'm just seeing where your baseline is.
Okay. You ended up throwing and pitching in there another one of your takeaways. I'm gonna get my last one. I'll let you get to your last one.
Yeah.
I don't understand, and it's kind of similar along the lines of the
can we save this one for last, because that's
one.
when I really want to start ranting.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me get mine over with, because it's positive. And it's also a little bit, this is actually embarrassing for me. Trevor Penning, who was first team on he was on the Senior Bowl watch list, and he's first team here. He's been a blind spot for me, because you and I had Spencer Brown last year, and he got drafted, and he's 6'10", and he is great in pass sets, and he's got long arms, so he dominated my attention. This Penning guy, it's a takeaway, and this is a recommendation for you. Go onto YouTube, search up Spencer Penning. You will immediately, the first 2 clips, say, oh my God. And then the next 10 minutes.
Penning.
Trevor Penning? Oh, I said Spencer? Pardon me.
Yes. Understandable.
You're going to look at him and be like, oh my God, where did they find him? How did you and I get 2 of these guys? It's miraculous what he does. I mean, he's just as mean as a guy you've seen on film, and you could tell he's wearing a helmet. There's no close-up. It's just film. You could tell that was just an insane finish of a block. He's gonna, and Joe, I know you're big on him also, and this is just kind of a Sean discovery, which again, embarrassing that it came so late, but I'm all in. He is in the Volson and Burkhalter camp. That's what he's in for me. And Burkhalter shouldn't be second team. But he is. I know Fornadle's first team. You need a tackle there. Fornadle is fine. He's just so long, and he's got strong hands. So defensive ends struggle against him. I don't think his feet are exceptional, but I think he's a very good offensive tackle. But I think Burkhalter should have taken a first-team spot regardless. Penning, Volson, Burkhalter. Those are my three.
I also want to just toss in there is an NFL Draft Prospects podcast interview with Trevor Penning that was published a month ago, so go check that out. That's a great conversation that Ryan had with Trevor Penning. Ryan, again, I will always mention if Ryan is high on somebody, and he's very high on Trevor Penning.
He should be.
Thinks he could be a day 2 type of guy because of how physically dominant he is. And it makes sense. These Northern Iowa guys are just built different. They are trained different because of that strength and conditioning program. So my final takeaway, as I was alluding to,
let's get into
pure strong Isaiah Davis, very similar in this sense. How we can put on here Tyler Hudson from Central Arkansas, who I absolutely love.
He's great.
Fantastic receiver. First team, justifiably. But you don't put on LaJuan Winningham anywhere? Anywhere. Where did... I don't get it. Is Phil just against the thought of putting guys at the same position from the same team or something? Because LaJuan Winningham's just as talented as Tyler Hudson. They're both good because they play opposite of each other.
They're phenomenal. They're
how
both
can you
phenomenal.
Skip that? Unless Winningham's not playing this year, he was on the 2021 roster. It just doesn't. It's so confusing to me.
We've seen Winningham's tweets also. It's him and Hudson. They're ready for the season. That's what I've been seeing.
Yep.
He's on this list. He needs to be on this list. We have seen NFL wide receivers on our team. We've seen 2 of them. We know what they're built like. We know what their film looks like. How many times I've watched countless hours of the offense, and Joe has watched countless hours of just the team. So we have a pretty good gauge of what an exceptional FCS player who will be going on to the next level and who could play or make a team, whatever, practice squad, whatever, at the next level. We know what they look like. We know what they act like. We know how they move. LaJuan Winningham, from everything that we've seen, or at least me personally, at least deserves a third team nod. And I think that's almost insulting to him also. I would put him on second team. I would almost put him on first team. I think that because Tyler Hudson was so phenomenal last year, that took away a little bit of the shine. But Winningham is still who he is. He didn't take a step back by any means. Joe, did he?
No. Well, so strangely enough, there's no stats listed for 2020. And, there's obviously limited games for some of these schools.
He was in the Austin Peay game, bro.
Right.
He had the big catch down the sideline. He was huge that game. He was drawing PIs all over the place.
Right. I don't know. Questionable stuff. Interesting takes there.
We're big fans, as.
Yeah, big fans. Folks, if you didn't know this, the season is right around the corner.
If you don't know,
we've got some first games on the 28th. We've got just a quick peek at the calendar. Get it pulled up. This is the last show before we do a preview episode. So next week's going to be a preview of that first weekend. There are some games that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be getting into it. Sean and I will talk off air on how the schedule will look in season, but we will try to do what we can to bring additional content, not just one episode a week. So be on the lookout for that. What do you got? You're giving me a look.
I don't know. You're just talking so quietly, and
you're talking quietly.
No, you just went. We were just yelling about LaJuan Winningham, and then it became Somber Joe, and it took me.
We've got
the
FCS football season
around the corner. That's what I need. Come on, close us out hot, Joe.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. Hit the damn subscribe button.
We still got more.
There's nothing else to talk about. What do you mean? What else do we have? What else more is there?
I don't know. You could talk about getting juiced up for the season.
I am juiced up. Hit the damn subscribe button so you don't miss out on the content.
I'll do another impression.
Apple Podcasts, on Spotify.
Yeah, we're like a week out, man, and it's just gonna be a vibe. We'll sit down, have an IPA, and we'll just watch some FCS football. We'll come back on here and talk about.
There are so many words that I want to say, but I will try to remain professional.
It's gonna be fun.
Follow us on social media at Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio.
You got a subscribe button
on NFL Prospects Pod on YouTube is where you can find our show. Also, Believe Podcast Network on YouTube is where the show is viewable. At Believe Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Stay tuned, folks. We're coming straight at you, full speed, swinging with FCS content. We're coming.